Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Hello. Everyone, good evening. Welcome to another Sunday night live stream. Hopefully y'all can hear me. I think I tested my audio right before I started, so I'm good. Andre, thank you for the loud and clear. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Wisdom and peace, Mrs. Angeles, Blueberry, Nicole, A, Wanda, Andre, Marlana, Jean, Rebecca. Who am I missing here? Sharon. Welcome. Nice to see you. Welcome to another Sunday night live stream. Today is Sunday, January 26th, 2025. Can you believe we're almost done with this month already? Time goes by so quickly. It's crazy. But very nice to see all of you here. It's another cold day here in Chicago, but it's not as cold. I think today the high was around 25 when a couple days ago, last week, the high was like 5 or 3. So I'll take it. It made my walk much easier today instead of having to deal with much colder temperatures. So today I want to go back to the tried and true and talk about imperfect consistency. I think it's a topic that is worth talking about as a reminder to all of you to keep showing up no matter what. I do think that one of my most successful methods of weight loss is practicing imperfect consistency. Think about what your weight loss journey has been like. If it's been new for you, you've been trying to lose weight maybe in the last year or so, maybe the last couple years, or you're like me and you've been trying to lose weight your entire life. And think about what that's looked like for you. For many of us, we go into it gung-ho, right? 110%. And we're pushing super hard and we're trying to reach for the stars or reach for the moon. And then the moment things don't go your way, you throw in the towel. And I'm here to tell you that if you can just stop yourself from throwing in the towel and practicing imperfect consistency instead, you will find success in what you're doing. And that's what I want to talk about tonight. I really want to go over a more realistic, logical approach at how to do something like this and find actual success when it comes to weight loss. And I know that people have found that in here. People share that in chat. People share it in my comments. People share it. Well, they don't share it, but I've seen it with my own eyes on my coaching sessions. So I want to maybe put a good structure out there to share with you all how imperfect consistency has gotten me to not only lose the weight quickly, but kept it off now for 10 months. And it's not like I've just kept this weight off for 10 months. It's not like I've just been doing this for 15 months and I'm coasting. I mean, I am always striving to do better. I'm always working on myself. I'm always keeping my goals in front of me. And I want all of you to be able to have a strive for that as well, because really, when it comes to health and wellness, it should be your top priority. There should be nothing more important than taking care of yourself in the best way that you can, so that you can be not only good and healthy for yourself, but for other people in your life, the other people that you love and care for, to enjoy things in your life, no matter what age you're in. But we'll get into that in a little bit. I do have a whole slew of things to talk about. But I want to remind all of you that this live stream, if you're watching it live right now, this is an accountability live stream. This is a place where I will share where I'm at currently and what struggles I'm dealing with, what things have been successful for me. But I also want you to remember that this is a place for you as well, to share your successes, to share if you are stumbling, if you're having trouble. This should be a safe space for all of us, especially here in the live chat, but also for people who want to share where they're at in the comments. Remember, I go through everything in chat. I'm always trying to see how people are doing. So if sharing where you're at and how progress has been for you is helpful, please feel free to do so in the chat. I always look forward to seeing what people have to say. At the same time, I have a question for all of you who are in here right now. Like I said, it's Sunday, January 26th. It's 7:44 p.m. here in Chicago. Maybe it's a little later or a little earlier where you're at. For some people, you're already on the next day, which is fine. But I always ask this question: are you here waiting till Monday? And if you're wondering what I mean by that, my question to you is: are you waiting to start your health and wellness journey instead of starting it now, starting it a week ago, starting it on January 1st when you said you were going to? Are you waiting till Monday? I know that we're already at the tail end of January here. Maybe some of you are waiting until February 1st. And I want to remind you that there is no reason to do any such thing. Life is now. There's no reason to wait. There's no reason to push things aside and tell yourself you're going to start on Monday. You're going to start after your birthday that's coming up in a couple of days. You're going to start for some magic number to get you to where you want to be. Because we all know, if you've done this before, you know what that cycle looks like. Don't waste time waiting till Monday. It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the weekend, because I know there's probably a lot of people who are just like, but the weekend is here. I just want to enjoy the weekend, and then I'll get my head in the right place to start on Monday. But like I've said before, if this is something that you are consistently doing, and this is maybe the bad type of consistency, right? But if this is what you do over and over and over every single Sunday night, it's probably time to make a change. EJ Rich. EJ, so nice to see you with a $10 Australian super chat. EJ, so nice to see you. Hey, Jerome. Will a Big Mac and strawberry shake break my fast? Asking for a friend. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I think it might. I'd probably stay away from that. I'd probably let your friend know that that's probably not the best way to keep your fast going. But hey, if that's all they have and that's it, and that's what's going to get them through the entire day, I mean, you're putting yourself at a caloric deficit. I guess it depends on how big the shake is and if it's just one Big Mac and it doesn't have fries. EJ, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay, let me get back into this. So today for me, I am 448 days in. I have been practicing rolling fasts now for 448 days. That is, I believe that's 15 months, or at least somewhere there. I don't know if it's over 15 months at this point, but we'll say it's about 15 months. I lost 80 pounds in the first 5 months, and I've kept it off now for 10 plus months. And while I feel like it's very impressive to lose that weight that quickly, I honestly think the star of the show, the thing that I'm even more proud about, is the fact that I've maintained and kept this weight off for 10 plus months. And I'm still continuing to move myself forward, get myself further in what I'm doing. I want to share my journey, and I know many of you have seen what this looks like, but I just want to go over my current stats like I do every Sunday here. In the last 448 days, in the last 64 weeks, I have completed 167 fasts. 167 fasts in the last 448 days, which means that for 281 days, I have not eaten at all. 281 full days I haven't eaten in the last 448 days. If you do the math on that, that's over 60% of the time, I'm not eating. It's a lot of time that I take away from eating altogether. It really also, I believe, shows the fact that you're going to be fine if you are not eating food all day, every day. Just a reminder that it is possible and you can be healthy and you can still live your life normally. I'm not saying that food shouldn't be enjoyable, because food absolutely is on the days I get to eat it. In the few hours that I get to have my refeeds, but I also know I don't need it all day, every day. In the last 444, in the last 448 days, I have been averaging a 58-hour and 13-minute fast, which is about 2.5 days on average, fasting 2.5 days with a refeed of 6 hours, fasting for 2.5 days with a refeed of 6 hours. Now, this is where imperfect consistency comes into play. And I will talk about this in depth in a bit, but I think, especially for people who might not know how I've been doing this for the last 15 months, I think sometimes they'll see those numbers and they're like, but I can't do that over and over and over and over and over. And I'll tell you that I haven't done it over and over and over and over. Just because I fast on average for 58 hours doesn't mean that I haven't eaten back to back days in a row, because I absolutely have. Just because it shows that on average I fast for 58 hours doesn't mean that I don't go on vacation and eat back to back days in a row, because I certainly have. All of those things, me living a normal life, I do all of those things. I don't know how many of you saw my refeed on, when was my refeed? That was on Friday. It's Sunday now, where I went to an all you can eat sushi rotary place and it was amazing. And I really enjoyed my time and I ate what I wanted and I didn't restrict myself in any type of manner. And I think sometimes people see that and they're like, but, and then I'm like, but what? This is how I lost the weight. This is how I'm at where I'm at right now, because I don't beat myself up over enjoying myself every now and then. And that's not to say that you have to eat as much as I eat, or you have to eat for as long as I do. What I'm trying to say is sometimes, for every single person who's watching this, who watches this in the future, you have to figure out what that journey looks like for you. You don't have to listen to what everyone is telling you. Just because people are showing you their perfect lives on social media and how to do things in the most perfect manner, there's this guy right here who is showing, at least in the best way that I can, that you do not have to do things perfectly all day, every day, that you can still enjoy things in your life without identifying as somebody who only eats this way, who only does this, that this is the only way of doing things. I want to be able to show people that it's okay to give yourself grace every now and then. I will never be that fitness influencer who's going to have a six pack and I don't know. I don't eat the cleanest. I don't have the most perfect body. I mean, come on, guys. I'm 5'3", right? I'm not even in a category in that regard. And I used to weigh 235 pounds. So I also know that my skin isn't going to stretch back to where, well, it never was in a place because even at 5 years old, I was already an overweight kid. But, here I am at 44 and I'm very happy with where I'm at. I'm very happy with my progress. I love the fact that I'm in the healthiest state I've ever been in, that I can enjoy my life and have great health markers to kind of hold over me as well. I'm in a happy place. And no matter what people say, no matter what people think about the way I eat or the way I do things, they also don't understand the shit I've been through beforehand. And that even where I'm at right now is continuing to evolve. Yes, I fast for 58 hours on average, but the first 3 months, 5 months of my journey, my fasting was 90 plus hours. I don't identify as somebody who just fasts for 90 hours, right? My journey has changed over time. What I'm trying to show people here is that there are many tools that you can access and use them to your disposal. And I'm not just talking about fasting, I'm talking about the way you eat and learning from other ways of doing things, but also being imperfectly consistent and being fine with that and moving on with your life because you know that eventually you will have more good days than bad, and that will outweigh those bad days. And that is how you will find progress in what you're doing, by practicing imperfect consistency. I need to go back here because there are a few other super chats. Wandering Traveler with a $10 super chat. Wandering Traveler, so nice to see you again. Thank you so much for the support. Just started a 108-hour fast, going on a cruise in 3 weeks. First of all, lucky you going on a cruise. Hopefully it's a great cruise. How long are you going to be gone for? But why 108 hours? I'm just a little curious. Is there a specific reason for that? I mean, keep us posted on the 108. Congrats on getting as far as you can if you're able to complete it. Not saying that you won't, right? I have all the faith that you will. I want to know what these results look like, Wandering Traveler. So keep us posted. I'm sure that you probably have a plan for the next 3 weeks, but you'll have to let us know. Thank you again for the $10 super chat, and good luck to you on your 108-hour fast. Sherry Morgan with a $5 super chat. Sherry, thank you again for the support as always. It's so nice to see you as always. Thank you for sharing. We are told no food for a week or no water for 5 days is a death sentence. Big Food doesn't profit on fasting. You've heard me say, well, Sherry, again, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I think you've heard me say this before, not to just you, Sherry, but just in general. Think about it, right? These food companies who need our money will never tell you to fast. They'll never tell you to not snack in between. They'll never tell you to skip breakfast or skip lunch. Instead, they will say, "Oh, you're trying to lose weight, you're trying to eat better. Buy this instead. Here's our low fat blah 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 instead. Oh, you're eating low carb. Have this, eat this instead. No, 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 no. Don't skip a meal. Don't skip a snack. Instead, have these. We're adding extra whatever into it, right? I mean, that's the best way that I see it. And I mean, I think Sherry sees it the same way too. And right, you're right. When you fast, companies aren't going to make money off of you. Also, which is Sherry, again, thank you for the $5 super chat. Thank you. I was going to say, think about, not thank you, think about all the money you save when you're fasting. When I think about my past and when I was going through my binging episodes, literally DoorDash, Grubhub, DoorDash, Grubhub, like if I don't even have those apps installed on my phone anymore. But if I were to ever pull up my Grubhub or DoorDash history and the hundreds of dollars I would spend. I mean, there were some days where I would be spending over $100 in a day because I would be doing it twice or three times in the day because that's what my life turned into. Think about all of the money you would save by just skipping a meal. And if you're overweight or obese or morbidly obese, my guess is you'll probably be fine skipping a meal here and there. And I'm not saying that that's what you have to do. I'm not saying that fasting is the only thing that will get you success, but, and I tell people this all the time, I might not be a doctor, but I know one thing's for sure. If you don't eat, you're going to lose weight. You will eventually lose weight if you're putting 0 calories in you. How do you know that? How do I know that? Because I'm living proof. I've been doing this shit for a long time. Wanda with a $20 super chat. Wanda, you're always so generous with these super chats. Wanda, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the support. Wanda says, stuck at 158 pounds, did a 48-hour fast followed by a 42-hour fast. I'm 27 hours into a 65-hour fast. I'm going to have to fast longer for better results. Cheers to imperfect consistency. And Wanda, cheers to imperfect consistency for sure. And I think you see this as well. So this is actually a great coaching moment here as well. So, right as Wanda is saying this, Wanda is stuck at 158, probably finding a plateau at the moment. And this is where I tell others, you have, if you want to look at it in the simplest terms, if you are plateauing, you have two options here. And this is where your levers of weight loss become very important. So sometimes people are like, but I can't lose weight. I'm stuck here. And then you have to look at two things. One, the length of your fasts, or two, the amount of food you're putting in. One of those two things has to change. The question for you is, and not you, Wanda, because it looks like you figured out what that is for you. But for anybody who's watching this, who's plateaued or who is stuck at a certain weight, your two options are you're either going to have to fast for longer or you're going to have to fix the diet. There's no other way about it. Yes, you can exercise, you can do things to keep you moving to burn those extra calories, but I do think that is more of a complementary thing or a supplementary thing, unless you're just going insane and burning 3,000-4,000 calories on exercise alone. But my guess is the easier way here is you're either going to fast for longer or you're going to clean up the diet. Now, that choice is up to you, or you can do a combination of both. But it's all about adjusting those levers. You know what I mean? And it looks like for here, Wanda is trying to push a longer fast to get that weight to move down on the scale. Wanda, you'll have to keep us posted. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for sharing where you're at on your journey. But again, thank you again so much for the $20 donation. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So where was I at? I'm trying to remember what I was talking about before. I want to share where I'm at, and I want to share imperfect consistency. I want to share my imperfect consistency, but I also want to share with you what consistency looks like. And you might look at this as perfect or imperfect, but I'm going to share with you right now what my last 10 fasts have looked like. Okay. Also, how many of you are currently doing these 65-hour challenges with me? Any of you? I'm just curious. And even if you're not doing 65-hour fasts and you are in this challenge, my hope is you are still showing up no matter what. I'm also guessing that people who are regulars here have learned to adopt imperfect consistency and have been applying it to their daily life as they've been working on their journey. But let me share what my last 10 fasts look like. I've said this on my past videos, but my goal is to do 65-hour fasts all the way until mid-February. So I'm going on vacation in the middle of February. And since December 28th, I have been performing 65 plus hour fasts back to back to back to back. In the last 10 or in my last 10 fasts, which have been almost a month now. I mean, tomorrow is January 27th. I will be finishing fast number 11, but on average in the last month, I have been averaging a 66 hour and 50-minute fast or 49-minute fast. So that is, what is that? 60 hours is 2.5 days. So I have been fasting on average for a little over 2.5 days with a 5-hour refeed. So think about that. In the last month, 2.5 plus day fast. Yep. 2.5 plus day fast, 5-hour refeed, 2.5 day plus fast, 5-hour refeed, over and over and over. That is consistency, kind of textbook consistency in a way, but I'll share this with you, right? If you look at number 2 on my last 10 fasts, number 2 says 64 hours and 38 minutes. Now, you've heard me talk about doing 65-hour fasts. And I know that this might not be a big deal to some people to see 64 hours and 38 minutes. You might be saying to yourself, but Jerome, that's close enough. And I also know that's close enough. I also know I wasn't able to do 65 then because I either had plans or I was breaking my fast with friends for dinner or whatever that might look like. But old Jerome would have been crying over doing a 64-hour and 38-minute fast and telling himself, but that's not 65 hours. This doesn't count. So maybe you should just start over. Maybe you should just binge tonight and eat everything and not work out the next day. Do you see what I'm saying? This is consistency in its real form here, but this is also me telling myself, hey, that wasn't 65 that one day, but that isn't going to stop you from doing what you're doing. And obviously it hasn't, because that fast was done back on December 31st. And am I sitting here crying over not doing a 65-hour fast? No, absolutely not. Because what does it matter? Because what matters is look at the average. Look at these 66-hour fasts with a 5-hour refeed over and over and over. Angela with a $5 super chat. Angela Rains, thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Angela says, been saying imperfect consistency nonstop over here. I'm glad you've been applying it. Was sick for a week and kept failing. Just did a 65 though. Any tips for getting back at it? So, okay, let me think about this. You were sick for a week. When you say you kept failing, so I actually have this as part of my slide later on, not slide, but something we're going to be talking about. When you say kept failing, are you saying you were giving yourself a hard time because you were sick? Because I hope, and this is for anybody who's watching this, if you're pushing a fast or you're trying to work out and you're sick, you should be giving yourself some grace during this time. You should be okay with knowing that you might not be able to work as hard or maybe fast as long. But I will say, when I am sick, personally, I feel like I fast even more when I'm sick, but that's me. I also look at it in a way of, if I'm sick, I'm not trying to, I remember back when I was younger, anytime I was sick, it was like soup, or it would be, I would call it sabaw and rice, which is a Filipino thing. It's literally just like broth and rice. And that was kind of like soup, it was hot. And things that were easy on the stomach. That's kind of what I had. I guess what I'm saying is, if you're sick and you're not feeling it, I just hope you don't look at failure as, oh, I was trying to do a 65 or a 90 and I was sick, so I'm a failure or I failed. I just, I think that's a different moment. And I say this to anybody who's sick or who has a fever or who is just not feeling it. I think it's okay to give yourself rest during that time. Angela says, "Yeah, I kept intending to fast and not being able to." And I think that's okay. I say this to you as like, "Hey, it's all right." Those moments when you're sick, some of those things are out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. And I think the more important thing is just knowing that when you're feeling better is when you get to act. I tell this to people all the time, but if you overeat one day or you didn't fast for as long as you intended to, there's nothing wrong with that. The real the real question is what happens after? What do you do after? Like when you stop being sick, did you get back on it, right? I think there's also a lot to be said, Angela, if, for example, you were sick, but you still kept hitting a timer and you still kept timing yourself and you were still being mindful of your refeeds. Maybe you decided to keep your refeeds short. Maybe you decided to prioritize your sleep. These are the other important things. When your fasting lever isn't working as high or as strong as it normally would, what are the other things that you're implementing in your health and wellness journey? That's kind of how I look at it as well. So hopefully that's a little helpful there. Congratulations on your 65. I hope that kind of gets you back into the groove of it. Any tips for getting back at it? Honestly, it's just showing up and it's continuously hitting the timer and it's showing up for yourself in a way that puts you accountable and transparent, maybe not with just yourself but with other people as well. Sometimes that means being transparent in a public way, being in a group of others who are striving for similar things, or even having a coaching moment, right? Where you're showing accountability for someone else who is going to be checking up on you in that way. So I would say those things are what keep me going. Those things are really motivating for me. Hopefully you're able to just keep on with the 65. So again, Angela, thank you for the support. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay, so I showed you what I've been doing currently with those last 10 fasts, and I am now working on fast number 11. And just to give you an idea of where I'm at currently, I'm currently 44 hours and 23 minutes fasted. I will be breaking again tomorrow, doing another 65-hour fast that will put me on 11 in a row. And let's maybe talk about that for a second, right? And actually I'm going to pull my own sheet up here so I'm making sure I'm saying the right thing. So I have done 11 65-hour fasts in a row, right? Or tomorrow will be 11 65-hour fasts in a row. And as I've done 11 65-hour fasts in a row, I'm sure there are people who are watching this who are like, damn, you've done 65-hour fasts. You've done them for almost a month. You must have lost a ton of weight. Let me start here. On the 28th of December, after I completed my first 65-hour fast, I was 149.8 pounds. And that was on December 28th. On January 24th, which was 2 days ago, I hit my lowest weight at 144.8 pounds. I've lost 5 pounds after doing 10 65-hour fasts in a row. Do you know how many people would be upset with that? How many people would say this isn't worth it? I say this because no matter what the scale says, it doesn't stop me from going for my walks. It doesn't stop me from lifting heavy weights. It doesn't stop me from trying to be mindful about my refeed times. It doesn't stop me from trying to eat better on my refeeds, but it also doesn't stop me from enjoying myself when I'm out with friends and going to an all you can eat sushi place and then still eating some more afterwards. There are probably not many people who would look at doing 10 65-hour fasts in a row, see that I've only lost 5 pounds, and be like, why are you doing this, bro? What's the point of doing this? Because I see that a lot in the comments. For me, I do it because I know that I can still lose weight even at a slow pace, but I get to eat every 65 hours versus every 90 hours. I could easily pull 90-hour fasts if I really wanted to and get the weight off to where I want to be goal weight wise, but I'm okay with what I'm doing. And in a lot of ways, I'm okay with being imperfect. I'm okay with the body I'm in right now, even though it isn't perfect, because I know I'm continuously working on myself every day, little by little. I'm not trying to like push for long fasts day in and day out in that regard. Just a bit of imperfect consistency before we get into the real meat of what I want to talk about today. Avdi. Hi, Avdi. Avdi with a $5 super sticker. Avdi, it's so nice to see you as always. Thank you for the support. I don't know what the sticker looks like just yet, but I will take a look at it after the stream. Avdi, thank you so much for the $5. I was about to say super chat, super sticker. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. As always, thank you for the support. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Avdi. So before I get into talking more about imperfect consistency, I showed you where I'm at currently when it comes to my fast. I'm 40 something hours in, and we are about to hop into fit check. I always share this. I really need to update my photos, and I say that every week. Fit check is where I show you where I'm at physically, whether I am doing well or I am not doing the best. I want to be transparent and honest and show up every single Sunday and say to you, hey, this is where I'm at. I am losing weight. I've gained weight. I'm feeling bloated. I'm feeling lean. Today, I'm feeling somewhere in the middle. I refed with all the food that you saw on my last video, and I'm currently 42 plus hours, I believe, right? It was 42 since that refeed that you watched me post. I'm 44 hours, 44 hours and 28 minutes fasted. I have been an overweight kid, teenager, adolescent, adult my entire life. I have, and when I say my entire life, I mean it. There hasn't really been any part of me that has been average weight until I had started incorporating rolling fasts in my late 30s, early 40s, even though I gained it all back. But pretty much my entire life, I've been either overweight, obese, or morbidly obese. Today, I have maintained an average weight now for the last 10 plus months, which is crazy to me. I'm very proud of that. And again, I used to wear a size 38 waist, extra large shirt, double XL, even though I'm 5'3", I had to wear such a huge shirt because it had to cover my stomach. Today, I think, what did I weigh this morning? I was 147.4 this morning. Hopefully, I'll be right at around 145 tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to lose any weight tomorrow because that refeed was a lot more processed than what I normally eat. So we'll see what the weight looks like tomorrow. But I'm somewhere in the mid 140s at this point. I am currently wearing this is a size XL youth boys shirt at Target. But yes, let's do fit check. I'll speak more on that. Again, this is a size extra large youth, and these pants here, these pants are boys 14 or 16, I can't remember. These are boys jeans here, just FYI. So all of this is all courtesy of Target. Front shot, right? Side shot. Back. Oh, and then this side right here. And you can see, so like even as I show fit check, right? Like you can see, so a lot of people ask me about loose skin, and it's like, yes, I do have loose skin, and you can see it here too. Like I wear this compressed shirt, but like I can pull at it, right? Like this is visible. Like this is. So sometimes I feel a little self-conscious because even as I like, it depends on way the shirt is, but you can see it, right? Like I know I still have some extra fat to lose, but I also know I have loose skin. And I always get this question all the time. But yes, I do have loose skin. I have loose skin that's very apparent here. You can see it as the skin doesn't really like bounce back. But also, I tell people I used to weigh at my heaviest 235. Like my neck used to be so much bigger. So I know there's a lot of loose skin there. I do have loose skin on my upper arms, my lower stomach. That is why I do a lot of lifting. I keep telling myself the more you lift, the more muscle you'll get on you. Having extra muscle is also just metabolically good for you. I enjoy lifting. I really like the aesthetics of it. Like I can see like I'm like here, like trying to flex. I'm just a lot broader than I have been. So I really enjoy doing that. And it's a good mental relief too, to be able to go to the gym and lift weights and be healthy and not just focus on cardio every day. And even the cardio that I do is real casual, like a leisurely walk. I walk about an hour a day. And it's a really good time for me to just, I guess, have some mental relief. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with what I'm doing and how I'm feeling. And I know I talked about the loose skin. I don't know if it's something I'll ever try to fix, maybe in the future, but right now my goal is to just keep leaning out and keep adding more muscle. That is really my ultimate goal, is to put as much muscle as I can and lose as much excess fat I have on me remaining, and then figure out if I should be taking next steps. If I do, that's great. If I don't, that's fine too. But you all know, I'll share with you all what that looks like in the future. So I want to take some time and I want to talk about imperfect consistency. I just see a quick question here. And I normally don't ask questions this early, but I saw this question really quick, and I was going to say, Lazarus asks, with weight loss, do you know if your testosterone went up any? So Lazarus, I'll share this with you. And I've shared this a number of times on my stream, and I don't know if I've ever made a video on it. I don't think I have, and I don't have the numbers here in front of me to share with you, but I roughly know what those numbers look like. So a couple of years ago, when I was 220 pounds and my diabetes was uncontrolled and my blood pressure was through the roof, I went to get my testosterone checked because I just was not feeling like myself. And when they tested my testosterone, it was at 170. Now, testosterone ranges for males, I believe it's somewhere between 300 and 800, right? 300 and 800 is the normal range. They had tested me at 170. My doctor at the time said, he talked to me about testosterone therapy and said, come back in 4 weeks so we can double check and make sure that it wasn't a fluke. So 4 weeks, I came back, I had my testosterone checked again. And instead of it being 170, it was at 117. So it was even lower the second time around. Remember, for a male, the normal range, I believe, is somewhere between 300 and 800. And then I started fasting. I fasted what I'm doing now since I started my journey, and I did my rolling fasts. I ate the way I eat. You've all seen the way I eat. I go for my walks. I lift weights. And then when they tested my testosterone in July, it was 841. So remember, the range is somewhere between 300 and 800, or it could be 850. But my number, I believe, was 841. You can watch the stream, I think, on November 6th. And I think I even showed that screenshot of 841. And I was able to get my testosterone back to optimal levels at a high level. And I just want to remind people, I have done this without any medication, without any surgery, without any injections, without anything. That's through fasting, through the way I eat my 6,000 calorie refeeds, through the way I work out. I just want people to understand that I was able to do it in a natural way. Sometimes people ask me, well, what vitamins are you taking? I don't take vitamins. What electrolytes are you taking? I don't take electrolytes. What supplements do I take? So I used to tell people I don't take supplements, but now I take protein powder. I do take protein powder. I have been thinking about taking creatine because creatine apparently helps you with your lifts and is not bad for you. I don't know. I have to do more research on it. But anyway, that's it, right? For the most part, everything natural. I don't take any medication. There's nothing. Even when I had my testosterone checked at 841, they were like, my doctor was like, yeah, you don't need testosterone therapy. You're fine. You're good. You know, and to think I'm 44 years old, right? And my testosterone is what I guess somebody who would be younger would maybe be at level wise. I think. So Andre with a $10 super chat. Andre, thank you so much for the support as always. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate you. There's so many of you regulars here who just keep supporting, and I appreciate you all so much. Andre says, J-Man, I did a 90 since the last live stream. Congrats on the 90. And I'm finishing another 90 tomorrow. Congrats on 2 90s. Look at you. Andre, that's amazing. So I'm feeling pretty good. You should be. It was rough today for a minute, but I got through it. Love the refeed. I'm glad you enjoy the refeed. I remember, I believe it was Omad Manny last week who donated and said, when's the next refeed? And then I was like, I got to put a refeed out. So I wanted to put something out that way. I thought it went pretty well. So Andre, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Congratulations on your 290-hour fasts. I appreciate you sharing that maybe you've had a rough time, and I'm glad that you were able to get out of it and you're working through it. And you know that through imperfect consistency, you will move past it. So Andre, thank you again for the support. Thank you for the donation. I want to talk about imperfect consistency, especially to people who might be new to what this notion looks like. If you're new to my channel and you don't know what I talk about when I talk about imperfect consistency or why I say this all the time, I am somebody who has always lived with a all or nothing personality, with a black and white mindset. Either I'm doing things perfectly or I'm not doing them at all. What's the point in doing anything if you don't do it the right exact way? And that was how I lived my life for so long. If you're looking for an example of what that looks like, let's say I told myself I'm going to do a 90-hour fast. And let's say that 90-hour fast also included me going for a walk. Maybe it also included me going to lift weights and sleeping well and doing all these things that I told myself I was going to do. Now, let's say 22 hours in, I can't get through that 90-hour fast. And 22 hours in, I'm just like, well, I'm not going to do this 90 hours. So fuck today. I'm just going to eat everything. I'm going to binge. I am not going to go for my walk. I'm not going to go to the gym. I'm not going to try to get good sleep. Instead, I'm just going to go spend $100 on DoorDash and Grubhub or drive through or pick something up and eat everything. And you know what? I'm going to then try to do the most perfect thing tomorrow. I'm going to start tomorrow. I'm going to wait till Monday because the weekend is coming. So why do anything right now when I can wait till Monday? That is how my mindset used to be. It's 448 days later, and I feel so differently when it comes to that type of thinking. So when I talk about imperfect consistency, let's provide that same example. Let's say I wanted to do a 90-hour fast and I only got 22 hours in. And I'll say this to anyone that I coach. Okay, 22 hours. What does that mean? Does that mean I go spend $100 on Grubhub and DoorDash? Does it mean that I don't go for my walk? Does it mean that I don't go to the gym and lift weights? You know what the answer to that is. The answer is, okay, you didn't get through 90 hours, 22 hours, go break your fast. Go refeed. Maybe what that means is now that you're refeeding early, maybe that means you should not eat as many calories. Maybe that means you're going to eat cleaner. Maybe that means even if you're going to eat that bad and you're going to have a long refeed and you might overeat, that means you're still going to go for a walk. That means that you're still going to go lift weights like you said you were. That means that you're not going to just spend a ton of money. Maybe that means you're going to make sure you're still going to get good sleep for the rest of the evening. You're going to do something imperfectly that by the time you finish your refeed, you're going to hit that timer and go again. There's no stopping. There's no waiting until midnight. There's no waiting until Monday. There's no waiting until February 1st. There's no waiting until, oh, let me just wait until I get back from my vacation. Right? There's no more excuses. You just go again. You practice imperfect consistency. That is what I mean when it comes to imperfect consistency. You might not be doing things in a perfect manner, but you will show up for yourself every single day. You will continue to show up every single day. I want anybody who's watching this to think about that. This is the shit that people don't tell you on social media. Instead, they tell you this is the best way to eat. This is how you should work out. This is how clean things should be. And then you know what ends up happening to people who do this? You try to mimic that and you try to do things perfectly. And then you realize this shit is too hard. I can't do this right now. So instead, you walk away from it. You learn nothing. And then a week later or a month later, you're like, okay, let me try to do that thing I said I was going to do. And let me prepare myself and do these things perfectly. And then you know what happens when you start doing them perfectly? You only get so far. And then you fuck up and then you find yourself doing the same shit again. Or here's one that happens a lot. And this is something that I hear a lot. Jerome, before I used to do these fasts. And you know what? When I did it before, I lost this much weight in 2 weeks, in a month. And I did it and it was great. And I don't know why I can't do it again. I say this because I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot. You know who used to talk like that too? If you're new to my channel and you haven't even seen any of my content, go look at my content 4 years ago in 2020 when I did this journey for the first time. When I went from 220 pounds to 124 pounds. I lost 95 pounds doing the exact same thing that I'm doing today. I lost 95 pounds. And then I gained it all back. I left YouTube. I ran away because I was embarrassed and I was ashamed. And I started binge eating again. And I gained 95 pounds. And I was gone from YouTube for 2+ years. And then you know what happened in those 2+ years that I gained all that weight? Do you know what I said to myself? Oh, Jerome, what the fuck? You did this before. Why can't you do it again? Why are you in this place? What is You did it before. Why can't you do it now? What That was me. Just like everyone else that comes to me and says the same shit. Stop. Stop living in the past. Stop thinking about what you used to do and just do the shit that you can today. Practice imperfect consistency. Be okay with where you're at today because you know what? Old you get to learn from that. And eventually you will find what that looks like for you. And even if it isn't going to be exactly the same like it was in the past, stop living in that moment. There's no reason for you to live that way. You need to build the habits that you can today and stop thinking about what you used to do because why? Why are you torturing yourself in that way? Why are you telling yourself, but I did this? Who cares? Why should you care about what you did then? When really what matters is what you're doing today. What are you doing for yourself today? If you gain the weight back from what you did in the past and were not consistent about it, why do you want to do that exact same thing? So you can do it again and gain it back? Or would you rather learn something like imperfect consistency and be like, oh my God, if I had just done it this way, I would have just maintained this weight, or I would have continued to lose the weight in a more tolerable way, in a more sustainable way. And this is not to say that you cannot push if you want to, because trust me, if you practice imperfect consistency, you will eventually have those moments where you will want to push and you will have that fire under your ass and you will get a longer fast under your belt. But in the meantime, if it's not there, practice imperfect consistency. Think about this. When you are striving for perfection, you will burn out. I will say that again. When you are striving for perfection, you will burn the fuck out. You will be like, I don't want to do this anymore. This is torture. None of this makes sense. I don't want to do this anymore. And then what do? You walk away from it. You go eat the shittiest foods that you want to eat. And then you will tell yourself eventually, I'll get back to it. I'll get back to it. But what are you getting back to? You're getting back to perfection when you shouldn't be chasing perfection, right? Perfection will lead to burnout. Instead, if you practice imperfect consistency on the days where you feel like you can push, push. On the days that you can't, pull back, but continue working on yourself instead of striving for perfection. Does that make sense? I hope it does. I hope that's clear with what I'm saying. Life is messy. If you're watching this right now and you're like, I don't care, Jerome, I'm going to do it perfect. I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you. Show me. I want you to show me, right? If you have the motivation to push, push. But I'm going to tell you as well, life is messy. Life is very messy. What do I mean by that? In the last 448 days of my journey, do you think every day has been perfect? Life is messy. You're going to get invited to something that's going to throw off your routine. Something will happen in your life that will throw off your routine. Maybe you have a work trip to attend. Maybe you have a vacation coming up. Maybe something unexpected is going to happen in your life that will throw your routine off. When that happens, do you walk away from it, from your perfect life, your perfect routine of doing right? Or do you practice imperfect consistency and say, hey, I need to deal with this. I need to roll with it and figure my shit out. It might not be perfect, but I can make it consistent. This is why when I coach people, I think it's so important that you show up whether you do well or you don't. That is why sometimes I think it's so important to show up in ways that you have never done before. I cannot tell you how many people I've worked with who sometimes it's hard for people to see that because they are stuck in looking at things in a perfect manner, doing it perfect and no other way at all. When really the key of doing this is, oh my God, I just needed to show up every day and be accountable. Now, if you're not thinking that way, where your head might be right now, the way I think about it is you're unhappy with the results because you want to do it in a quick way. And I get that. I mean, of all people, that's what I did. I had a different type of motivation at the very beginning of my journey, and that fire was lit under my ass for so long. But I also knew that if I didn't get myself out of that all or nothing mentality, I would find myself back in the same place. I remember it was a couple live streams ago. Somebody left a comment and in chat, and they were like, I think they said something in chat about how they were 89 hours fasted, and then later on left another chat comment that said, "I'm leaving. All this guy talks about is it's okay to quit." And you know what? That type of chat, that somebody who's done an 89-hour fast, I love that for them. But this is what I'm talking about. How many times has that 89-hour fast happened? Is it the first time? I know that when I performed 90-hour fast for 5 months in a row, I know that isn't something that everyone can do. Performing a 93-hour fast on average for 5 months is just not sustainable for many people. And that is why I think it's so important to understand that you have to give yourself grace when it is time to give yourself grace and be okay with it. Because I think the more important thing here is if you want this to be sustainable, if you want to be able to do this for the long run, you will have to adapt different methods and learn about other things than just fasting for a long period of time. Because if you do not learn how to do the other things, you're going to find yourself in a bad place. Because if all you know is how to fast for a long time and do nothing else, how are you going to learn about everything else when it comes to health and wellness? The other notes I have here, I mean, these are things that I can just kind of name, but imperfect consistency will help you build better habits. I think I've shared that in length with what I'm doing. You can watch my old videos to see what that looks like. But a big one on here too is that the guilt and the shame of not doing things perfectly, that will subside. You will start accepting imperfection. And I'll tell you that there is nothing more rewarding than to know that you can do something imperfectly and be okay with it and move on with your life. And when you figure that out and you know that day 17 doesn't have to turn into day 1, day 103 doesn't have to turn into day 1, when you realize you don't have to start over anymore, it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. The last note I have here is failure is feedback. Stop looking at failure as I fucked up and I got to start over. Instead, look at failure as feedback. Look at it as, okay, this is what happened here. And honestly, during my coaching moments, I think that's the best time to show up because that is when you grow. That is when you learn. As uncomfortable as it is, listen, when you don't do the things that you told yourself you were going to do, many of us will walk away from it because we don't want to deal with the actual facts of what we did. Right? Because in your head, you're like, I know, I fucked up. It's just, let's just forget about it. No, you should learn from that moment and figure out, okay, what happened here? And how will you figure this out the next time it happens? And will you be okay with it? Look at failure as feedback rather than failure as nothing more than just you not being perfect. It's time for Q&A. If you have any questions, hopefully this section about imperfect consistency was helpful. But if you have any questions, please feel free to ask them now. I will wait for any questions. I'll wait for any questions that come up. I will be happy to answer as many as I can. In the meantime, while I wait for people to ask questions, if you are looking for any type of help when it comes to fasting or weight loss or accountability that you might not be able to find here, please feel free to reach out to me. You can go to this link, or there is a link in the description for one-on-one coaching. You can talk to me directly. You and I will have a real conversation about what your goals are, putting a plan and a strategy together to hold you accountable in ways that maybe you have not been accountable before. Please feel free to reach out. If I can help in any way, that is my goal. Well, for anyone, is to be able to help them and help them find success in whatever way possible. Also, if you're not looking for something that intimate as one-on-one coaching, I do hold a Wednesday night live stream for my autophagy group. You can also find a link in the description for that. That is where we all get together every Wednesday night, this Wednesday as well. And we have a communal spreadsheet where we share our goals for the week. I liked how I made my spreadsheet. And you hold yourself accountable. And everyone's goals are different. My goals are different than other people on the Wednesday night live stream, but it's to maybe put some accountability to your name. And if that's something you're looking for, there are other people on there who will chat, who will jump on the stream, who will turn the camera on and talk or keep it off, or think of it as a coaching session, but in a group format. So if that's something you might be interested in, please feel free to check it out. Okay. Let me take a look at any questions that might be here. Sharon asks, does anyone know what app he uses with the timer on it? I use the Zero app, but I'm going to say this right now. The Zero app is annoying. The Zero app forces you to put a credit card in, and at this point, I wouldn't even recommend it. I would say go look for another app that is free, or wait for my app that will be coming out, which I need to get out. And my app will not bombard you with asking you for money, because I appreciate the support, but not in that type of way where it's always, I don't even know if that Zero app has any benefit paying for it. It's a timer that times how long you should fast for. Anyway, that's what I use. I continue using it because I've been using it for a long time. So until I get mine out, I'm just not switching over until then. But hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Nuggies. Hi, Nuggies. Jerome, I haven't heard you mention how many grams of fiber you're trying to hit on refeed. Sorry if I've missed it. It's okay. I've mentioned it. So for me, 75 grams. 75 grams of dietary fiber, which is a lot. The standard grams of dietary fiber the average American should be having under a 2,000 calorie diet is 28 grams. I say this to anyone who's watching this right now. How many of you are having 28 grams of dietary fiber with the 2,000 calorie diet? I think I read a stat that says most Americans don't even get anywhere close to that. And here I am on my refeeds trying to get 75 grams of dietary fiber in. But that is what I do. And on top of 75 grams of dietary fiber, I am getting like 275 grams of protein per refeed. So a lot of protein, a lot of dietary fiber. I use both of those because the dietary fiber helps with insulin control. It helps with satiety. Protein does the same thing. Also, for many people who don't know this, the more protein you eat, the more the body has to burn calories in that way. The body burns calories harder trying to process protein versus the other macros like carbs. So just something to think about. Nuggies, hopefully that question was helpful. Daniel, thank you so much for sharing. Do you take coffee? Yes. Yerba mate? I have no idea what that is, so no. Herbal tea? Yes. Diet drinks? Yes. Xylitol? I don't know, unless the diet pop I drink has it. Stevia every once in a while. Also, do you have regular sleep patterns when fasting? No, actually, I sleep the best when I'm fasting. My refeed days, sometimes my sleep can be thrown off, but that's because I drink caffeine in the evenings on my refeeds. I really like drinking Diet Mountain Dew. That's what I enjoy drinking. So just an FYI. So I think that throws off my sleep. Sleep is something that a lot of people talk about, but my sleep is okay. I'll say I sleep anywhere between 6 and 6.5 hours on average, which isn't the best. I'm still aiming for 7, but it's a lot better than the 4 hours I used to get when I was obese and had uncontrolled blood sugar. So it's a lot better than where it used to be, but it could still be better. But my sleep pattern, I don't think, is irregular. If anything, it's pretty average, somewhere between 6 and 6.5 hours, but it could be better. Thank you all for the kind comments. I'm just like going through chat and I see this here. So thank you. Nicole asks, my question is, have you experienced fasting itself triggering food obsession, binging in the same way restricting foods does? This is kind of happening to me and it sucks. Mental fuckery. So Nicole, this is actually, okay. So this is actually a great question and something that I have been meaning to talk about, but this is more of an advanced, not an advanced topic, but let me put it simply, right? And maybe this is how Nicole is saying this. Fasting, if you think about fasting, fasting is extreme for people, right? Because you're completely depriving yourself of calories whatsoever, right? You're not talking about going on a diet where you're cutting calories. You're not talking about eating certain foods and, right? Fasting is completely restrictive, right? You're just turning off food altogether. For me though, I think that's a lot easier than restricting carbs or restricting calories or whatever that might look like. Now, the problem here, right? You're talking to somebody, sorry, my chair was under my rug. You're talking to somebody here who deals with or has dealt with a binge eating issue. Also, everyone, it's 448 days and I haven't binged. It's amazing. So what Nicole's asking here is actually something that I thought about is when I would eat, I found myself like eating crazy amounts, even though people probably think what I eat now is crazy amounts and it's not even close to it, right? But for a while when I would refeed, I would tell myself, am I just going from one extreme to another? And it's a fair assessment, right? It's something I think that definitely is a cause for concern. But I'll tell you this, while it was something I thought about at the very beginning, I have started to notice that every fast and every refeed over and over and over has gotten better, because the longer I've done this, the more I've realized, okay, I don't have to go crazy on these refeeds. They don't have to be these refeeds where it's like, this is the last time I'm going to eat. I'm never going to, because you know what I used to do when I would binge, it would be the exact same thing, but even worse. There was no control in my binging. right? My binges would be not 6,000 calories, but they would be double that or triple that, or who knows how bad they were. They were eating the most like ridiculous shit because there was no mindfulness at all in my eating. There was no time limit. I would eat the worst foods ever. So compared to what my refeeds look like to what my binging look like, not even close. And if you look at my journey, if you look at my refeeds 4 years ago, 5 years ago to what my refeeds look like now, they're so much different. They've changed over time. The way I've eaten has changed dramatically over time. And even though the volume is still high, the types of foods I put in me are a lot cleaner than what they used to be. So I tell you this, and you take it for what it is, right? I mean, if you know you're finding an issue with what you're doing, you also know you have all the control. You control what you're putting in you. You control the amount that you're putting in you. I do think that it will get better over time the longer you practice. Because right now you might be in a place of extremes. If you are somebody that has binged in the past, you are probably in that extreme type of behavior. And I think that will just change over time. That isn't, again, this is something that probably requires a longer conversation, but hopefully that was helpful. At least to let you know that, hey, I know what it's like. I've been there, but I can I can say that if you keep practicing, if you keep doing this, I think you will be better about it. Maybe you'll start to realize you might not even have to fast as long. You might not even have to eat as much. Hopefully those things will start to taper off as time continues. If you show up instead of walking away from it. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Nicole. I'm just saying in general for anyone who's watching this, you will learn through experience if you show up for yourself every single day. Hopefully that was helpful. Okay. Price Man 5, so nice to see you as always. Jerome, how often do you drink? Drink alcohol, liquor? I would say once a month, once every 6 weeks. I don't drink that often. The problem is when I do drink, I drink. Like I drink a good amount. And that is the harder part for me. Luckily, right, I only drink on my refeeds, but I would say it's maybe once a month, maybe once every 6 weeks. Sometimes it could be more, it just depends. How much of an effect do you believe it has on your progress? I mean, I drink every once in a while, and my progress really has maintained, right? I mean, it's the same reason I've maintained my weight now for 10 months. So I don't think it's been much of an effect for me at all, but I also don't drink every single refeed, right? Once a month or once every 6 weeks is different than if I were to drink heavily once a week or even once every 2 weeks. I think the only thing that can be, I think the only way you'd really know is by just going through that experience and seeing what that's like. I don't know. You'll have to keep me posted, Price Man 5. I'm a little curious on what that's like for you. So hopefully that was helpful. Chris, hi Chris. Sorry to bother you. You're not bothering me. That's the entire point of this is for Q&A. But you said it before. What was the fast time in the beginning to help you lose that amount in 5 months? Okay, so I'm going to say this and I'm going to add something into it, okay? I lost 80 pounds in 5 months by doing fasts that average 93 hours. I believe it was 93 hours. Actually, I have my spreadsheet open up here, so I'm just gonna like grab those first 5 months and see what that average was. 93, it was around 93 hours, let's say, right? So I lost 80 pounds in 5 months by doing 93-hour fasts back to back to back with an average refeeding time of around 4.5 hours or 4 hours. So I would fast for nearly 4 days, eat for 4 hours, fast again for nearly 4 days, eat for 4 hours. Here is where you need to understand, and I'm not pointing you out, Chris, just in general for anyone who's watching this, because I can't tell you how many people come here who want to do these 90-hour fasts. And again, if you want to do it, I as long as you can healthily do it, do it. But people think that this 90-hour fast came out of thin air, right? I picked 90 hours because it was something I learned through trial and error. The reason I did 90-hour fast is because I eat 6,000 calories. I eat 5,000 calories. I eat 7,000 calories every time I refeed. The reason I picked 90-hour fast is because that is what got the weight on the scale to go down regardless of what I ate. If anyone's watching this, if you don't eat 5,000, 6,000 calories per refeed, you most likely do not have to fast for 90 hours and you will still find success in your weight loss. You might be able to do 65-hour fast and lose the weight as quickly as I did if you don't eat the way I do. Now let's not forget, this is also including my exercise and lifting weights and doing all of those other things. So it's going to depend. I just want people to watch this, or if you watch this in the future, or if you're watching this right now, this is why I always say my journey is my journey and your journey is yours. I don't know how many people I have met that can do 90-hour fast for 5 months in a row, or that eat 6,000 calories or 7,000 calories on a refeed. If you're wondering, Jerome, what are you eating in 6,000 or 7,000 calories? Go take a look at my last refeed. I just posted that video. You can see what I ate, and I'm pretty sure most people don't eat in the same volume that I eat in that short amount of time, or even at my height and weight at 5'3" and 145-ish pounds, right? Anyway, Chris, I hope that was helpful. I guess I just say that because I don't want people to be hard on themselves if they don't do a 90-hour fast. I want people to remember, hey, most people aren't eating the way I am, so you're probably going to benefit in a much better way. Nuggies with a $5 super chat. Nuggies, thank you for the support. I appreciate the donation. Nuggies says, I appreciate you for sharing your journey and motivating me. You're very welcome. I mean, that's why I do what I do, because I want people to understand that we don't have to do things perfectly. I think there's also there's a lot of stuff on the internet right now that is just, I try not to watch so much of it, but there's just so much shit out there that's ridiculous. And my job is to keep telling people like, hey, these people might say this shit, but are they actually living it? Are they actually preaching it? I don't know if they are or they aren't, but I know that I'm not hiding anything. There's nothing that I'm hiding. Everything is completely transparent. So like, if people ever question what I do, it's like, no, watch Jerome's videos. He's literally been proving that this works time and time again. Got a long way to go, but down 36.6 pounds since last month. That's incredible. Nuggies, 36 pounds in a month. I'm sure you're ecstatic. Congratulations on your success and to continued success and to continued imperfect consistency. Hopefully you've been practicing that as well. Nuggies, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate the support and congratulations on your success. Congratulations to you. Okay, let me scroll back up. Where am I at here? Sorry, everyone. I'm trying to try to get back to my place. Oh, there we are. Price Man 5 on refeeds. Are you all eating whatever? Oh, are you asking everyone? Well, you know what mine looks like, Price Man 5. So it looks like you're asking the group here. P.432. 432. So I used to get this question a lot. How did you get your stomach to handle breaking fast the way you do? If I break anything more taxing on the stomach, like fruit, my stomach feels awful for hours. So P.432. 432. This question gets asked. It used to get asked a lot more. Sometimes people are just like, don't you get explosive diarrhea? For me, I'm pretty regular, and I will say I'm pretty lucky. So if you watch my video where I ate at that sushi place, I mean, I'm sure you all saw that. I ate all of that, and it's not like I was running to the bathroom after I ate that. And that was off of a 66-hour fast. I tell people that I must be lucky in some way because I don't have issues when it comes to that. It might be different for other people. So if this is something that you are wanting to do, performing rolling fasts, you have to really just go through trial and error and experiment with it. This is why when you break your fast, it doesn't mean that you should also be breaking with all you can eat sushi. I mean, I have literally broken fasts just drinking whiskey and beer, right? With pizza and fries. I'm not saying it's the most perfect way of doing it. You might have to figure out what that looks like for you. So it wasn't like I had trained my stomach. I think I've just always been that way. I hate to say it, and I hate to be like, oh well, that's just how it was for me. But really, that's kind of how it was in that regard. So you'll have to keep us posted if things have gotten better over time with that. So Gene. Gene became a new YouTube member. Where are my stickers? Oh, they're right here. Gene, thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. For anybody, I'm like trying to grab my sticker. For anybody who is already part of the Finally Fasting fam, can we throw some F's up for Gene? I have to get these out to you guys. These are stickers. You can put them on things that you want to stick them onto. Gene, thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. I appreciate it. If anybody is interested in being part of the Finally Fasting fam, if you want to join in on the Wednesday night live streams, there is a link to join on the description. On the description of this video, there's a link to that. Or if you just want to support, Gene, thank you so much for being a new member. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let me go and scroll back up here, see if I can find my place. Your mom. I'm trying to do 3-month fast. Any tips? A 3-month fast is incredibly long. You know what? And I don't know if Alina is in here, but well, actually, I don't want to, I'm sure Alina will share. Somebody who's part of the Tafuji group just did an incredibly long fast, and Alina said something that is worth mentioning. And she had said something like, take it day by day. Now, 3 months is a long time. I don't know what the hurry is, but I also will always tell people I support you as long as you can healthily do it. Any tips? I mean, figure out what your hacks are when it comes to doing something this long. I always have drinking hacks. I have a full video out about how to overcome hunger. I think it's my #1 video right now. So maybe that might be helpful for you. I've shared a lot of tips over this time. I would say just watch the videos and see. I have built these 65-hour fasts, my 90-hour fast, my 7-day fast through experience. I think I'm at this place now where it has just become habitual, where I feel fat adapted, where I don't rely on food every day. I don't know what your fasting experience looks like, if you have even been fasting regularly since then, or if you're just going cold turkey off of a 3-day fast, or or you're going cold turkey with a 3-month fast, but maybe not the answers you're looking for, but I'm sure there are other people in the chat here that can be helpful. So thank you though for the question. Daniel asks, man, you look so healthy and energetic, especially for your age. I appreciate the kind words. I was wondering, does thin privilege really exist? This is a different question, a different type of question, but a valid question. What differences from fat Jerome to lean Jerome have you noticed? So honest to God, like it exists and it sucks. Like it makes me emotional thinking about it, right? Because people look at me differently today than when I weighed 220 some pounds, right? My personality hasn't changed. I've been the same type of person. I've always been kind of a goofy guy. I mean, I might not show it here. Maybe you see it in like my refeed videos, but people treat me differently. People give me more attention. People respect the things I have to say more today than when I used to be morbidly obese. Um, that is the society we live in. And as much as I want to say that it doesn't matter, there's always that part of me that is vain. And I look at myself and I appreciate myself for how I look now than when I looked before. I am always trying to remind myself to give myself value no matter what weight I'm at, because who knows what will happen in the future, and that I should still accept myself for who I was back then. And I do. But that is one thing I notice a lot. I mean, if we're talking about, you know, this is more not a thin privilege thing, but I notice, right? I live in Chicago. I take public transportation a lot. I take the bus a lot. I take the train a lot. And I will say, when I was heavier and there were open seats, people would not sit next to me because, right, I'd be the big guy and I'd be like taking a seat and a quarter, right? Even at 5'3", I was still taking up space. But now that I'm 5'3" and small, people will sit next to me because there's more space. There's a lot more space than sitting next to like a taller person or a bigger person. But yeah, people do treat me differently. People do talk to me more. It kind of sucks. And I will say, even with people who know me from the past, even when it comes to family, and they compliment me on how much weight I've lost and how good I look, it's hard to accept that, especially when family says it to me. When family says it to me, sometimes it's hard not to feel offended by it, because I will ask myself, is that all that matters to me, to you? And I know that's not true. I know it isn't, but it's just hard not to feel a certain type of way when you've been morbidly obese your entire life. You know what I mean? So this is a much more philosophical question to dive into, but I appreciate that question. So thanks for asking, Daniel. Omad Manny became a new YouTube member. Omad Manny, it's so nice to see you. It's always nice to see another Chicagoan. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. Everyone who's a Finally Fasting fam member, can we throw some F's up for Omad Manny? Omad Manny, I don't know if you signed up for the Omad tier or the autophagy tier, but if you did, hopefully I'll see you on Wednesday night's live stream. Thank you again. Please throw some F's up for Omad Manny. Appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and scroll back up here. Oh, I see. Omad Manny says, yo, Jerome, I'm on medications and I'm going to do 60-hour fasts and I love it. Omad Manny, as long as you can healthily do it. I mean, I know you had reached out to me about that too. So please keep us posted. Stay healthy, stay good, right? You remember, I'm not a doctor. So you'll always hear me tell you, talk to your doctor first. All right, let me scroll back up here. Oh, wait. Another super Mike Cables with a $10 super chat. Mike, thank you so much for the support. Mike says, Coach, still find that weird, but I'm getting used to it a little bit. Accountability check-in, 42-hour fast completed and weighing in at 280, rolling back into a 65-hour fast. Mike, congrats on the 42. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being transparent. It's always nice to hear from you, Mike. I appreciate the support as always. Thank you for the donation. I know you and I will be talking soon, but I love to hear that. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for, you know what? And I'll say this, right? I mean, Mike and I have been working for quite some time too, but Mike is really showing transparency in what he's doing, and he is showing up and being accountable. And I know that's going to continue success for him. So Mike, thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up as always. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let me scroll back up here. Wow, there are a lot of questions today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through everything, but let me see how much energy I have in me to go through what I can. I'm just trying to find anything with questions on it or question marks. Okay, I think I found my spot. Karen asks, how did you come up with your caloric intake? I didn't come up with it. I eat to satiety, meaning I eat until I feel full. And usually that number is somewhere between 5 and 7,000 calories. So that's how I came up with my caloric intake number. My advice to you, Karen, is, sorry, I have to like lift myself up here. My advice to you is find out what is satiating for you. Find out what will help you get through another fast. If you want to cut calories, more power to you, right? That's going to net you more success. But for me, one of the reasons I fast for as long as I do is because I know that my diet, the way I eat, is not the best. So for me, fasting for longer is what finds that balance. And I've realized that it's continued to keep that balance. Now, if I was doing 90-hour fasts, I would probably eat even more processed foods. So that's why you see a change in my diet, because I know I'm trying to like fix that part, right? Be better about that. Hopefully that was helpful, Karen. Umar asks, what do you think of dry fasting 2 days a week and then eating normally for the rest of the week? I mean, that's only something that you will be able to figure out. I don't have a lot of experience when it comes to dry fasting, but I know there are a number of people here that do. I dry fast every day, but when I dry fast every day, it's only for around like 13 to 16 hours. I dry fast from when I stop drinking anything at night, going to sleep, waking up, I work out, and I do that dry fasted, but that's it. So for you, that's something you're going to have to experiment with. I will say, just be careful, right? Like if you're not feeling it and you're feeling off and you can't function like a normal human being, break your fast. I'm sure there are other people in here though who have experience. So if they want to share, please feel free to share as well. So hopefully that was helpful. I don't have enough experience to really give you knowledge there when it comes to that. If you see me looking over this way, it's because I'm just looking for any other questions. What type of fasting am I doing? I'm doing rolling fasts. So initially I fasted for 90 hours, ate for 4 hours, and now I fast for around 58 hours and I refeed for 6. So rolling fasts. What do I eat? I eat anything that I want, although I am more mindful about it today. Do I exercise? Yes, I exercise. I go for walks about an hour a day, and I lift weights 3 to 4 times a week. I don't know if you were asking me though. Maybe you were. Maybe you were asking someone else. But either way, is this really live? Of course, bromosexual. What do you consume before and after exercise during your fasting? Nothing. I even work out dry fasted, just like I said. So I don't even drink water when I'm working out or lifting weights. Mm, do you fast on days you exercise too? Yes. Uh, what do you drink or consume pre and post workouts? I mean, I drink after, but I don't drink anything special. I have a whole video about what I drink on my channel, but drink water, black iced coffee, diet pop, unsweetened tea. Yep. Um, put the sticker on your fridge. I put my sticker on my moleskins. I use journals. I do a lot of when I coach. I use a notebook. Oh, I can share. Well, hopefully I did share enough, Alina. I mean, I was gonna say Alina just completed a 21-day fast. So um and congrats to Alina for doing that. She had just shared on our live stream on Wednesday that she had finished her 21-day fast. We're all very proud of her for being able to do that. It was amazing. So again, right? Like this is why everyone's journey is going to be different. Some days you're going to have it, some days you're going to need to pull back. It just depends on what that journey looks like. But I will say the most important part is you show up, regardless of what happens, is you show up. I love that all of you are talking in chat and talking with each other. When do I leave for vacation? February 14th. So the 14th will actually be the day I finish my 17th 65-hour fast in a row. Oh my God, 17 in a row. When I go on vacation, everyone, I'm going to be gone for a month. And I'm not going to lie, I'll make a video on this, but I'm a little scared of being gone for that long. I will continue to post videos and I will try to work on videos during that time. I still will be coaching for a limited time during then. So if any of you are trying to sign up for a session and you don't see time on my calendar, that's because I booked time away when I'm going to be on vacation. Um, I will be coaching though, but that will be for mostly the people that I'm continuing to coach on a regular basis because I just won't be able to take new sessions during that time. But yeah, a couple weeks. Universal being. Thanks for the question. Jace, looks like you came in here late. Yes, I have loose skin. I talked about it earlier in the stream. Does the skin shrink? I mean, I lift weights, so I feel like it's gotten better. Does it shrink? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm 44. I know I have loose skin. It isn't the worst thing in the world, but I do have it. If you want to go back on the live stream when I do fit check, you can check that out there when I, kind of go over that. Um, do 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 do. Remember, I'm answering questions. If all of you are wondering, if you just popped in, so I will continue answering questions until I am tired of answering questions. So please feel free to ask before I start signing off here. Bromo, dear finally fasting. Why are you saying it so formally? Why are you saying dear finally fasting? Are you writing me a letter? Do you fast on days you exercise too? Yes. If yes, what do you drink? Oh, I think you asked the same question. All right. I answered it already. I'm glad I can be inspiring, Isabel. Do you follow insulin food orders? Oh, like eat fiber, like veggies first, then fats, protein, then carbs. So, Daniel, actually, this is a really good point. Now, I don't necessarily follow it to a T, but if you watch my refeeds that aren't at a all you can eat sushi place, I will almost always start with fiber and protein. Yeah. And then I eat the shitty foods after. But yes, that's basically how I do it. And I eat a lot of the foods that I typically would not eat. So think of it like this. Let's say during my refeed, I ate pizza and tacos and a salad. Now, you know how that order should not go. If I eat a pizza and tacos and cookies and a bag of chips, there's a very high likely chance that I will not eat that salad. So, yes, I put the veggies, the meats, the fruits at the very front of my refeed. You can watch my refeed videos to see exactly that. Even when I eat vegetables and meat at the very beginning, I usually will not eat my white rice until the second plate because I know I will load up on the white rice at the very beginning if I start there. So I make sure, and like that's me eating like 2-3 pounds of vegetables before I even touch any rice. Maybe less than that. Maybe it's a pound and a half. But yeah, there is an order in what I do. In what I do, but it might not be like a strict order. So yeah. Mr. VO. Hi, Mr. VO. Nice to see you. Hi, J Man. I've been on Imperfect Consistency going 3 weeks now. Congratulations on the Imperfect Consistency. Down 10 pounds. Congratulations on on being down 10 pounds. My question is, you mentioned all or nothing approach being bad. In what ways has it been helpful? Well, I mean, if you think about my all or nothing mentality, it was very apparent at the very beginning of my journey. I mean, I lost 80 pounds in 5 months just hammering down 90-hour fasts over and over and over. That was a very all or nothing approach. My refeeds were more of a imperfect consistency type deal, but in that way it can be very helpful. In that way you can get the results you want if you can really push it. All or nothing mentality can, like, think about it with anyone that has an all or nothing mentality. You've all been there. You've all lost a ton of weight probably doing something super aggressive because you had a black and white type of thinking. But the problem with doing that is it can only last for so long before you tell yourself, okay, this is enough, I can't do anymore. So that's where it's been helpful in that regard. That's probably the most obvious way, I think, for me. Thank you for the question, Mr. VO. Tyler, well, it looks like other people are helping here too. If I want to go 3 days fasting, what should I do? Start eating potassium, magnesium, and eat sea salt or eat salt during those days. You can, if that's helpful for you. I will say though, if you want to go 3 days fasted, I'm just going to say, no matter what, if you don't hit 3 days, you hit your timer, you refeed, and then you go again, and then you push for another 3 days, and you keep pushing for it, and you keep practicing imperfect consistency. So even though that's the answer you probably don't want to hear, my suggestion to you is practice imperfect consistency and go and go and go again, because every time you do it, I will tell you, you will probably build that fasting muscle. You will probably get better at what you're doing if you consistently do it. If you want to make sure you get through 3 days, you can also remind yourself, hey, you just ate the day before, you're going to be fine. You have excess on you. Your body will eventually use that extra fat on you as energy stores. You're going to be okay. Just like I'm 40, where am I at now? I'm 40, 45 hours fasted at this point, right? I'm 45 hours fasted right now. I walked for an hour today. I lifted weights at the gym today. I performed. I coached people today. I spent some time with my mom and I went to go fix a couple of things at her house. I am doing this live stream, right? I function fine. I'm okay. I'm going to be fine. Tomorrow, when I wake up, I'm going to go for another 5-mile walk. I'm going to coach some more before I refeed. Most people will be fine getting through a day, especially if you have excess energy stores under you. A lot of it is in here rather than physical. Karen asks, any tips on how to control binge eating? This is a tougher one. I think binge eating can be very hard when you're doing it by yourself. You'll hear me tell you to practice imperfect consistency. You'll hear me to tell you to be accountable and show up for yourself. But I think binge eating is a different conversation. You can try those approaches like everything I've talked about, but Karen, I would suggest if you ever would like to have a conversation about it, I'm not saying that you have to book time with me, but if you think that a conversation might be good to kind of help you figure out what the next steps are, because I don't know about what that's like for you. I don't know if your binge eating is happening because you're stress eating, if you're being triggered by something specific, if there's something happening that's causing it, but I think that's a deeper conversation. So binge eating is a very hard thing to stop. And I don't think that's something I can just answer off the cuff here in that regard. I don't know if I've seen you before. This is the first time you've come here. Are we talking here for the first time? I would just say maybe it's something that in the future, if you ever want to talk about, like reach out to me. Even if it's not booking a session and you want to just shoot me an email, maybe it's something I can take some time to talk about. Because really, I want to be able to help people out. And something as touchy as this is just, I just don't know if it's something that is as simple as answering in one fell swoop. You know what I mean? I do hope for the best when it comes to that because I know it is not an easy thing to overcome. Wandering Traveler with a $2 Wandering Traveler with a $2 super chat. Wandering Traveler, thank you again for the support. I appreciate you as always. Wandering Traveler asks, how do I upgrade my channel membership? You need the Wednesday live stream, and it looks like you did. Wandering Traveler is a upgraded autophagy member for the Finally Fasting fam. Can we throw some F's up for Wandering Traveler, please? Wandering Traveler, that means I will see you on this Wednesday's live stream. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. Oh my God, I feel like I'm starting to mince my words here because I've been talking now for almost 2 hours. Wandering Traveler, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Mark with a $10 super chat. Mark, it's so nice to see you as well. Made the live. How's it going finally? Or how's it going, Fasting fam? Mark, it's so nice to see you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the support as always. Appreciate you so much. So many of you who are in here supporting regularly. I appreciate you. Please, I want you to understand it never goes unnoticed. Mark, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate you as always. Thank you. Thank you. Let me go ahead and scroll back up here and see if I can find my place. Bromo, I don't know if you keep asking the same question. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but unless you're asking other people, and it looks like other people are helping. Yeah. How do you make sure you have sufficient electrolytes in your body? I'll say this, at least for me, when I refeed, I make sure I eat foods that are high in potassium and magnesium, and I salt all my foods. So even when I fast for 65 hours or 90 hours or longer than that, my refeeds are very heavy and they are full of all of those electrolyte rich foods. Thank you, Jace. 44, you look great. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Universal Being. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Jack. It's nice to see you too. It's nice to see all of you here. There are so many of you in here. Also, for anybody who is just wondering, why is this guy just staring off? I'm trying to look for questions to answer. So if any of you have questions and you just popped in, please feel free to ask. I will try to answer as many as I can. Although I feel like I'm starting to run a little low on uh, gas here or fuel. Daniel asks, do you break your fast at any time? Nope. I break in the evenings. If I break in the mornings, I will eat the entire day. There's no way that I will be able to not fast, or there's no way that I will be able to fast in the evening if I know I broke earlier in the day. So I don't break at weird times. I always break in the evening. Would you say there are common reasons you break your yep, and I just explained it. So even though people say don't eat late at night, don't listen. I have been breaking in the evening, sometimes at 9 p.m., sometimes after a live stream at 10 p.m., and I will literally be falling asleep on my refeeds. It's helped me continue to lose the weight and keep it off. It's kept my blood marker or my blood work optimal. So I know people say do this, don't do this. Listen, if I had listened to what everybody had told me to do and didn't just do 90-hour fast and eat 6,000 calories, there's no way I would have been able to lose this weight, because I've tried everything that everyone's told me to do. And I realized that the only thing that works for me is doing it the way that is beneficial for me, which is why I will remind everyone, you can learn from me, but you have to find out what that journey looks like for you. Thank you for the question, Daniel. Thomas asks, hi, Thomas. At 48 hours fasted, can you sleep like tonight, right now? That yeah, my goal is to get at least 7 hours tonight. And, some days I get 6.5, some days I get 6, some days I get 8.5. So it really depends. If you can't ever sleep at 48 hours fasted, I know people have mentioned this, but people talk about taking magnesium. I wholeheartedly believe in having a proper sleep routine and sleeping at the same time and getting up at the same time. I think me exercising is very beneficial for me. Working out and doing all that has been helpful. So those are things that you might want to apply on your approach, Thomas. Oh my God. And another member of the Finally Fasting fam, 1984 Resistant. I've been seeing you a lot lately in the comments as well. 1984 Resistant. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being part of the Finally Fasting fam. Finally Fasting fam members, can we please get an F or throw an F up for 1984 Resistant? I appreciate you. I'm not sure which tier you signed up for, but if you signed up for the Toffee G tier, I will see you this Wednesday on Wednesday night's live stream. Thank you for the support as always, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Oh man, there's a lot today. Thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. Okay. Where am I at? Oh, you know what? While I'm looking for questions, for those that watch my refeed a couple days ago, did you like the format of that? Was that um was that entertaining? Do you want me to make more videos like that? I don't always I don't always like doing refeed videos because I enjoy just relaxing and eating, but I don't mind making them every now and then. So hopefully hopefully you enjoyed it. How do you live in Chicago? uh Taxes, there's not much you can do about. Taxes are going to be taxes, but Chicago is a lot cheaper than living in New York, um, living in other parts of the US. There are some really affordable apartments here in the city. Also, I'm born and raised here in Chicago, and this is my home. So um, I have thought about living elsewhere. I used to live in LA for work. I used to actually live in Dallas for work too, but Chicago is my home. Sometimes I think about living elsewhere, but you know, we'll see. Maybe one of these days. But I mean, I'm able to live here fine. I mean, I've been doing it my whole life, so I'm okay. Avoid, longtime lurker. Avoid, it's nice to see you. How do you recommend starting? You know what? This is the usually when I answer this question, the answer to this is you just start. You just start fasting. But better yet than me telling you, you can watch. I have a playlist called Fasting for Beginners. I would take a look there. I really think the importance, the foundation when it comes to just starting to fast is to just do it and start logging what your times look like. And a lot of that can be very helpful if you have someone to work with. Again, I'm not saying you need me to coach you, right? I'm not here, listen, everyone. I'm not here to just say everyone needs to sign up and coach. I'm just saying if you're looking for accountability in a different type of way, I mean, that might be a good place to start. You can motivate yourself. I mean, hell, I did it for myself, right? I motivated myself and I did it. That's how I started this back in 2019 before I even had a YouTube channel. But I would say the best piece of advice I can give is you just start. You just start pushing fast, you start building fasting experience, and then you start seeing what that looks like. So I know it might not be the best answer, but honestly, that is the best way to get started in doing it. Yes, the sushi belt video, the conveyor belt video. Thanks, A. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, there you go. Eric says it. Just start. Just start. Bromo says, did you ever try 16-hour fast with an 8-hour window? I did. That was actually back in like 2016. So I started doing IF back then, but my problem is no, it didn't really benefit me in weight loss because I eat in such high volumes, and an 8-hour eating window, I do a lot of damage in 8 hours of eating. I mean, look at the video I posted yesterday, right? Yesterday, I had a 5.5 hour eating window. I must have eaten at least 5, 6, 7,000 calories there. Easily, easily. So for me, I can't even do that. The volume of food I eat is just way too much. But for you, if you don't eat the way I do, then yeah, you might find this is why I need to remind people don't do a 90-hour fast just because I do a 90-hour fast. I was doing a 90-hour fast for a reason because I eat so much. If you don't eat the way I do, you don't have to fast for as long as I do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't. If you want to fast for that long, more power to you, right? So, a couple words here. Uh, I know we touched on it earlier because there was a great question about it, but I'm going to remind you all when it comes to the weight on the scale, do not let that number fuck with your head. Do not let the weight on the scale be the only thing that values you as a person because that is the farthest from the truth, the furthest from the truth. I think you use farthest when you talk about distance, actual distance, because it is the furthest from the truth. Joking aside, right? Um, you are just as valuable today at your weight as you will be 6 months from now, a year ago, 5 years down the road. Do not let the weight on the scale mess with you in that way. It is important to value yourself today for who you are, no matter what. Love yourself, respect yourself, accept yourself for who you are today. I was about to put my final words in here, but Miss Music's asking, what's your eating window now? It's right now, it's around 4 to 6 hours at this point. Oh no, my lighting got messed up. Oh, that's my fault. Let me fix that. I hate when that happens. Right as I was about to like close things off. There we go. Um Uh, finger touch says you could do an eating challenge like beard meets food. I have thought about doing stuff like that, but I can't do eating challenges that way because I think that would trigger my binge eating. You know what I mean? So for me, it's more about I'm just gonna eat till satiety. But yeah. Um Pivotless. Hi, Pivotless. Good to catch you live from the UK. Nice to see you. All the way from the UK. Currently pushing 96-hour fasts as one big SOB. So glad to have your videos for motivation. You're very welcome. What do you see your eating style being longer term? Uh, pretty similar to what they are now, but at a lower scale. My goal, if I can ever get to it, is to not eat 6,000 calories. I want to be able to eat 4,200 calories, 4,500 calories, and only fast for 42 hours. That's my longer term goal. Obviously, the cleaner I can eat, I will. But right now, I'm where I'm at, and I'm okay with that. That's, I'm pretty good. Even if the rest of my life had to be this way to maintain my weight, I think I'd be okay with that as well. Miss Music asks, are you on TikTok? I am on TikTok. You didn't even have to ask that question. You can just go to TikTok and look for Finally Fasting. I'm there at this point. ABX asked, did Cole's snake diet inspire you? Yeah, I have a full video about that on my channel from like 4 years ago. You can check that out. Priceman5 asks, if you end a fast early, do you also shorten your refeed time to compensate? Or do you keep the same refeed time? I've done both. And this is, that it will benefit you if you end your fast early and probably cut your refeed time, right? So, but there are times where I don't cut it early either because I still want to like do what I normally do and just throw myself back into the rhythm eventually. So that's also going to depend on the mental part. What are my favorite beverages when fasting? Mm, black iced coffee, Diet Pepsi. Water is water. That's not my favorite, but those two are my favorites. All right. That's it with questions, everyone. I appreciate all the questions. Thank you so much. Before I go, I just want to remind everyone that you are not alone when it comes to your journey. Remember, I've been doing this shit for a long time. If you think you're the only person that's doing this, or you're asking yourself, or you're saying to yourself, why me? Why do I have to do this? Listen, you're not the only person. I've been doing this shit for a while now. I'm currently 45 hours and 57 minutes fasted. I'm not breaking tonight. I'm still fasting again tomorrow, right? I'm not breaking until my 65-hour fast tomorrow. And then you know what happens after that 65-hour fast tomorrow? I'm going to refeed and then I'm going to do another 65-hour fast. And then you know what's going to happen after that? I'm going to do another 65-hour fast. And then you know what's going to happen after that? I'm going to do another 65-hour fast until mid-February when I go on vacation, and then I'm going to eat for 28 days in a row. And I have no idea what's going to happen then. But I will show up. We'll see what the weight looks like. I'm kind of curious. But let's not delve too far into the future there. I just want you to remember that you're not alone. Look at the people in the chat. Look at everyone being as supportive as they can be. You're not the only person fasting right now. We're doing this together. That's why there's a community. That's why I love what we have here. That's why I do this every Sunday. If you don't believe me, this is 64 weeks of me doing this. All you got to do is click the live tab on my channel and look at how many lives I've been doing week over week over week over week. Why? Because I'm showing up. I'm letting you all know you're not alone on this journey. Even though you might think you are not alone on this journey. Thank you all for the support today. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you to all the new Finally Fasting fam members. I will see you on Wednesday night's live stream. Thank you for everyone in here for just chatting. Thank you for the lurkers who don't even say anything but are here because you find this motivating and inspiring. Thank you for supporting me in what I do. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for Thank you for feeling motivated. And if I was able to help you in any way, if I was able to help you get out of the rut you've been in, hey, like it makes my job feel fulfilling. And I love what I do. So I appreciate you all. That's all I got. So thank you so much again. We will do this again next Sunday, right? Because if wait, listen, if I'm going to show up next Sunday, that means that you are going to show up next Sunday, right? That also means that if I show up this Sunday and I don't do well, I'm still going to be here and I'm going to be honest and transparent about it. And if you don't do what you told yourself you were going to do, will you be able to still hit a timer and keep going day after day after day? Will you show up for yourself? And if you can't show up for yourself, you know what? Will you show up for me? Will you show up for people in chat? Will you let them know that you had a hard week and say, but you know what? It's not going to stop me from pushing on and getting on another fast and taking care of myself and prioritizing my health and wellness and knowing that it's important to me. Can you do that for me? Because I'll be here and I will be sharing the same shit that I do every week. Hopefully so. And if so, I will see you next week. That's all I got. I'm going to go learn some Japanese and watch some YouTube and rest for the rest of the evening. Have a good night, everyone. It was nice seeing you. Thanks again. See you soon.